She had everything: a rising career, a loving partner, a body that moved with ease, a mind that never missed a detail. She didn't smoke, she barely drank. She went to the gym, ate well, slept when she could. She was 27, a junior barrister, the kind of woman other people called intimidating because she never dropped the ball. Until, one day, she did. She collapsed, vomiting, unconscious, breath shallow, in her own bathroom. Hours later, a CT scan showed what no one expected: a tumor inside her brain, silent, growing, crushing the parts of her that made her, her. Her name is Emma, and this is the story of how a young, healthy, ambitious woman nearly died because she thought her headaches were nothing. But they weren't nothing. They were a warning, one that millions of people ignore every single day. And by the end of this video, you'll know how to recognize the red flags that Emma didn't, because they might just save your life. Emma's story starts the way so many do: busy. She was a junior barrister in a London chambers, handling high-stakes cases while trying to prove herself. Her mornings were rushed, her evenings were full. She was building her name, and she was good at it. She had a partner, a dog, a gym membership, and a passport full of stamps. She'd just come back from Lisbon when the first headache hit. It wasn't much. A dull pressure behind her forehead. Nothing new. Nothing serious. She chalked it up to jet lag, screens, stress, life. She popped 2 paracetamol, washed them down with black coffee, and got on with her day. But the next morning, it was back, stronger. And then again, the next day. Always in the morning, always worse when she was lying down. By the second week, she was waking up before her alarm, with pain already pulsing in her skull. She started missing gym sessions, cancelled brunch plans. She was too tired, too foggy, too off. Her partner noticed. "You don't seem like yourself," he said. She laughed. "I'm fine, probably just burnt out." She worked late, slept poorly, lived on caffeine and willpower. Then came the vomiting. It wasn't food poisoning, there was no nausea, just vomiting, sudden, violent, once before work, then again after court. It didn't make sense, but Emma dismissed it. "I've just got too much on, maybe I need a massage." One evening, while reading through a trial bundle, the text blurred. She closed one eye, then the other. Something was wrong. 2 images of the same paragraph. Her eyes weren't aligning, but after blinking and rubbing them, her vision cleared, so she kept going. A week later, she bent down to pick up her bag and almost fell over. The room tilted sideways. She had to sit down to stop the spinning. Her partner urged her to go to the doctor. She refused. "I have closing arguments tomorrow. I can't reschedule because of a headache." But it wasn't just a headache. That night, she woke gasping for air. Her pillow was soaked with sweat, her heart racing. And the next morning, she didn't wake at all. Her partner found her collapsed on the floor, vomit in the sink, barely breathing. Paramedics arrived, blue lights, rushed to A&E, CT scan, then silence. The consultant walked in, holding the image of her brain, a mass at the base of the skull, posterior fossa, compressing the brainstem, blocking the flow of cerebrospinal fluid. Her brain was swelling. Pressure was rising. This was hydrocephalus, a dangerous backup of fluid inside her skull. If untreated, it could lead to coma, brain herniation, or death. She was taken straight to theatre. A small hole was drilled into her skull to relieve the pressure, a temporary drain placed. Then came the biopsy. The tumor was slow growing, not cancerous, but in the worst possible place. It had been silently pressing on her brain for months, and all she'd had were headaches. Emma survived. But the recovery was brutal. She had blurred vision for weeks. Her balance was off. Loud noises overwhelmed her. Simple conversations drained her energy. Her career was put on hold. She couldn't focus, couldn't process information the way she used to. The woman who once commanded courtrooms now struggled to read a page without resting. But she was alive, and with time, she began to reflect, not just on the tumor, but on how many times her body had tried to warn her, How many mornings she had dismissed the pain, how many symptoms she had normalized, justified, minimized, because we're taught to push through, to be tough, to not make a fuss. Especially women, especially high achievers. But not every headache is harmless. And some are trying to save your life. So here's what Emma and every neurologist wants you to know. There are hundreds of causes of headaches. Most are benign. Some are serious. A few are deadly. And the only way to tell the difference is to look for the red flags. Here they are. If you have a headache that's new and persistent, especially if you've never had headaches before, that's a red flag. If it's getting worse over time rather than coming and going, that's a red flag. If it wakes you up in the morning or is worse when lying flat or after coughing or sneezing, that's a red flag. If you vomit without feeling nauseous, or especially in the morning, that's a red flag. If your vision goes blurry or you see double, that's a red flag. If you feel off balance or uncoordinated or your speech becomes slurred, those are red flags. If people say your personality has changed, if you feel foggy, forgetful, detached from yourself, that's a red flag. If the pain is sudden and explosive, like a thunderclap, the worst headache of your life, that could be a bleed. That's an emergency. And if a headache is unlike any you've ever had or doesn't respond to your usual medications, that's a reason to get checked. Don't let someone dismiss your symptoms. Don't let a Google search convince you it's nothing. Don't write it off as burnout if your gut says something is wrong. Because Emma almost died, not because she was sick, but because she didn't believe she could be, and all she had was a headache. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more life-saving videos. And thank you for watching. If you found this helpful, please watch this video on the top left on how iron deficiency anemia can present itself as simple fatigue.